that very briefly, the way things played out in yesterday's session on the NSE. What are you making of trade at the moment? And this in a context where optimism seems to be floating all round.
Good morning, Alicia. What we've seen in the last 30 to 60 days is an aggressive trade, seriously fueled by the liquidity in the market. What we've also seen is, for the first time in a long time, we've seen volumes traded go as high as $50 million on a daily basis. If you look back as far as 2008, when we've seen the markets dropped significantly to as little as $10 million on a daily basis. Liquidity is at its all-time high. There is just growing market sentiment about the markets going to improve. For the first time in a very long time, we've seen the index cross the 6 trillion mark. And in fact, what is interesting to note is that for the month of March, we've seen the index climb by more than 12.5%. The expectation is, as we move into the second quarter of this year, that we'll continue to see the market trade up.
Well, certainly sentiment has remained strong within the banking sector, but it's also extended now to non-banking stocks as well, especially within the food and beverages space. Yesterday, within that sector, we saw UACN out with numbers. Your overall impressions there?
Well, that's what's always been expected for UAC. If you look at it historically, for the last 2 years, it's been given throwing up double-digit results with the diversification of its portfolio, moving away from its predominantly real estate business. What you see that the major contributor of the revenues is now more the food and beverage. It's about 63%, and it was expectation that if you look at the prior year's result, that the company will do at least 11% top line on the top line level, and so what the market is expecting. With the franchising business that they're looking to push out, and with the growth that is expected in that section, with the logistics business that is also in play, we expect that the business will just continue to grow. It's not inconceivable that you see that most analysts would either tell you it's a hold or a buy in the short to medium term.
If you're looking at the company's strategy, I mean, we're seeing this company moving away from more corporate-owned towards the franchise-owned restaurants. They're pushing that ratio to 25-75. What are you making of the group's focus on its franchise strategy at the moment?
Well, if you look globally, there is a clear case for franchising, and a case in point is the Chicken Republic business, which is in a very, very short time spread its footprint. And if you look for a retail business, what's important is branch spread. And the faster and quicker you're able to do that, the better your margin should be. You reduce your immediate capex requirements, be able to push your products through as many outlets as possible. And given that they've already started to address this needs by setting up a logistics business, which will ensure that products and goods and services will get to various franchise outlets, quality control is in place, then of course what you'd expect is a very robust result once this is implemented properly.
Well, of course, there's also the other 30% of the business to consider, and that segment caters to demand for animal feed through its subsidiary Grand Cereals. We've seen Grand Cereals secure a 2 billion naira loan from the federal government to invest in capacity expansion. I mean, how soon do you see this now translating to organic growth for UACN?
Well, what you see, there is a continued demand. There's a continued demand for locally manufactured feed, and if you see that space, there is a significant demand that needs to be filled up. If the implementation, which I expect is right, then you expect that that will translate into significant growth. But I think in the short to medium term, I think that the food and beverage section will continue to outperform. And I expect that with this branching out that they're pushing, we expect that it would also impact positively on the business as a whole.